All right, so it is, welcome back. It is mid-January, and we didn't really get much of a freeze. I think we got like one freeze this year, and it was enough to kill my plants that were still outside in buckets, but they lasted up until January. So, which is good because the end of February, we're pretty much out of frost danger. So we'll be able to start planting again in February. So that really only leaves us like a month of dead time. So, all right, and so this is what we're working on now. So, if you recall, last year we did build the raised bed using recycled pallets. And so we got that set up here. Now, I'm sure you've all seen this trick before. I got the cardboard boxes down there. Then we're gonna start putting some soil in over here. I don't think it's enough. I thought it was, but I think I have more than 10 cubic feet here. But it's gonna be enough to get us going there. So we're gonna get that filled with the soil, and then we're gonna work on getting the ground here all cleaned up, raked up, get rid of all the dog droppings, and then over here we're gonna put in some. Over here we're gonna put in some way to put in some sunflowers here. But what I'm thinking is on the end here we're gonna put like 2 sunflowers on that end, 2 sunflowers on this end, because this side here during the summer this gets like full sun. So, and then we're gonna put like 2 rows of corn in. So go sunflower, corn, sunflower, sunflower, corn, sunflower, and then probably like right here in the middle of this one we're gonna put in. We're gonna put in like a zucchini here, a scallop squash here, and a spaghetti squash over here. So we'll get, and then at the base of each of the corns, we're going to plant some beans so they can use the natural stalks. And then, so that's going to be, last year we did the 4 sisters in buckets, and they kind of grew, but it was really, I planted them too late. So the end of next month, we're going to have everything planted here. Then over on this side, we're going to be putting in some, we're going to put some buckets in on this side. So we're going to do our containers over here. So we're going to have like our tomatoes and our peppers, probably down a little bit more this way, because I want to put like the sunscreen. See right here, we got the wood on this side and we got the roof. So I'm probably going to cover this with the sunshade over on this side. We're going to get another sunshade and try to cover this side over here, so it's not quite as sunny over on this side. So that side will be full sun. This side here, this half will be like the partial sun. And then, it'll get some full sun as it comes up. And then as it goes over, it's shady. And then by the time it gets over here, the sun is too far down. So it's just, kind of shady. So it's going to get, a couple hours of full sun. And then the partial sun. So along this side here, we're going to have like our tomatoes and peppers. The stuff that needs sun, but not like, the deadening sun. And then right here, I put this gate in last night, and it looks still kind of ugly, but it's just a temporary fix. But we're gonna put probably gonna put sweet peas in each of these slots here. So that's to keep the dogs on that side, so that they don't, continue messing it up over here. And so we'll probably put like sweet peas on there, and then they can just use the fence there for to grow up. So they'll use that to vining. And then we're gonna put a couple tires in. Probably down on this end we're gonna do a couple tires. Probably one right here, and then one right here, and then one right here at the edge over here. So like 3 tires. And we're gonna put in I want to put in some pumpkins, some honeydew, some cantaloupe, and then possibly I'm gonna put in some watermelon, so that we get some fruits. So we'll get some melons, we'll get some pumpkins for Halloween, and be able to make fresh pumpkin pie. And we'll get our corn, our sunflowers, our beans, some squash. Then over here we'll have more sunflowers, because I didn't want to bring the pollinators in, and plus it helps keep other pests away. And I'm gonna put in some marigolds. So we'll put some flowers in around here somewhere. And then of course and then over here we're gonna have like, you know, a lot of buckets. But I also want to put in like maybe like right here, we're gonna put in like another raised bed right here that we can have our root vegetables, that, you know, so we can start, you know, the turnips, the parsnips, the carrots, the radishes and stuff. So, but we're gonna try to make as much use of this space as possible. Somebody installed these before we got here, and so I'm thinking that I might do something hanging. I can install one here, one here. There's already another one right here, and so, but I'm planning on installing something there, and I might get some of the I might get some like some of the like the window basket type things and install them along this side here, at least until we replace the fence, which may happen later on in the year. So I'll just take this stuff down, then once we get the new fence in, I'll just reinstall it. So, but that's what's going on over here. Again, it is the middle of January, so it's still a little bit cold, but I think that by the end of February we're going to be out of the freezing stage. So I don't think we're going to have much frost past, you know, the 3rd or 4th week of February. And so we'll be able to get everything in here. So right now we're going to get everything set up so that way it's good to go. And then just on the other side of this fence here, we're going to put in, because we are going to install, my new office is going to be back there. And so that's where, you know, we'll be making like the bulk of the videos. But in this area here, probably over there and like right here, I'm going to install 2 trees right there, either plums or apples. And then I was going to put a tree in the center there, but my wife overruled that. So but on the other side of the RV, she wants to put a shed in the back for just like household storage, so that we get rid of a lot of this just stuff that's here. We'll have it actually in storage, and then we have to have 3 feet from the wall on that side for the shed. So on that aspect of it, we're going to use between the wall and the shed as storage, and then there'll be 2 feet on this side of the shed. So there's going to be a 2 feet stretch right here, and so we'll make use of that. We might use storage on the back and the back side. And then on the very front there, on the back side of it, we're going to put in a house for the dogs for the summertime. Eventually we're going to cover, all the concrete's going to be covered. And we're going to have the artificial turf in here, artificial turf in here. And even over here, I'm going to put in the artificial turf because this is just not good dirt except for like weeds. So, you know, you'll get your puncture vines, you'll get your nuisances over here, but the ground's not good for like regular, it's just sand. So anything that doesn't grow in sand is just going to have a headache. So, and I do want to put the artificial turf in over here, because at least that way it'll be less weeds. I'm trying to get rid of the weeds, and so then that way we can actually have a nice garden over here. Again, this part here will be covered out to here. And then once we get to the edge here, then over here is going to be full sun. So this is where like the vegetables that need the full sun will grow over here. And then we'll put another pomegranate in there. So we'll have pomegranate, then a lemon and a lime. And then in the front there, put in a couple almond trees. And then we're going to put in 2 peaches and a nectarine in the front. So that we'll have that. And then once those trees get large enough, I'll be able to put in raised beds, you know, in between the trees. And then we are going to fence this whole yard in too, much like our neighbors over there, or over there, not over there. So, and then so that's going to give us eventually by the end of the year, ideally I'm going to have at least 9 or 10 fruit and nut trees, which isn't going to do anything the first year, but probably not next year either. But by the 3rd year, we should start getting some fruit in. Although we might get pomegranates off the first one we have, because it was already an established tree. We just transplanted it. And then, of course, we're going to have plenty of vegetables down in this side of the house here. So that's what we got going on for the next year. You know, we're probably going to do dates on this here. Because again, we're going to put in some automatic solar watering systems. And then of course, we'd have a security camera over it. So, and we're going to get the solar powers for those. So we're going to try to do as much solar in here as possible. The watering system I have, we're going to get that set up on the buckets. On that end, right where the buckets are, we're going to have the watering system set in place so that it gets full sun. So that'll keep the water going on that side, and then we'll have just like a container there with and I already have plans of how I'm going to do it to keep them out of that. So, but we're going to set up a automatic watering system, and more than likely, like right here at the corner there, we're going to have our water. And then what I do want to install is a gutter system. I want to have them put gutters in on my house so that we can actually get as much of the rainwater as possible, so that we can start doing rainwater mainly for watering purposes, of course. But you know, but when it rains here, a lot of times it does downpour, and so I can probably get a good 50 to 100 gallons off the roof just from the downpours. It never lasts too long. And then I'm gonna put another down here on this end. And then what I want to do is I'll install the drip system through the I'll stagger it through here, and then that way throughout the course of the day, you know, it slowly waters throughout the course of the day. So we're not using a lot of water, but we're watering smart. It is the desert here, so stuff needs that moisture stay alive. And I think that the solar automatic drip systems that I found on Amazon are probably the best option for that. And so I plan on getting 4, 5, 6 more of those, as well as probably some backups. So in case the solar panels stop working, I'll have backup solar panels to just swap them out. And but yeah, I got some good ideas on how I'm going to get this stuff in, and yeah, so that way we can make this as efficient as possible. When I do get my office in over there, I am going to install solar panels myself. I've been wanting to do it anyway, and so we're going to work on getting the solar in over there. Then we'll have solar in over here. We got a security camera on that end, and then once I get the shed in there, we're going to put a security camera on this side of the shed, and so on this side and on that side. So we'll put a couple security cameras in on the shed so that we have like a complete overview. We got a security camera in the back of the house, but I want to have complete security, you know, property. I want to have cameras going. So, and the ones outside, we're going to get the solar adapters. So hey, they stay charged up, so we don't even have to worry about it. And then that way we have, you know, a full range security on the property. And then again, we are going to fix the fences. And when we do fix the fences, we're probably make these taller. Probably not this one here, but like all these wood fences, the chain link in the back, we're going to put in taller fences. Possibly even as tall as the RV there, so that because we want no one looking in our yard. I don't want anyone knowing what I got going on back here. So yeah, that's our plan for the next year or so. That's what we're looking forward to doing. But just give you an update. We'll check back in after I get all this stuff done here, and we're going to see how this starts to look. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you got it making this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. This year, we're probably doing a lot less of the unboxings and more of the actual doing stuff. So I want to get more into the actual process it takes to turn, you know, an urban garden into a spot where you can actually survive. So, great. Till next time, keep prepping.